Nano starts tomorrow, and I know, like me, many of us are not quite as ready as we had hoped to be. So one final Preptober video to discuss last minute prep for NaNoWriMo. So here's what I did yesterday is I basically just sat down with my planner page, pulled it out of my planner and said, okay, what are the things that have to get done? I feel like so often when we start Preptober or whatever, we have these grand ideas of all the things we want to do. And sometimes some of you have done such a great job getting all that stuff done. So congrats to you if you feel like you are ready for tomorrow to begin. But then there are also a lot of us who October got away from us. I have been working on a fan event that I do every year called the Spooktacular. And honestly, for 13 days, I have had 12-hour days and it has totally been worth it. I have loved every minute of it, but it has been daily live streams, a lot of looking at the computer, daily blog posts, daily newsletters, and it has been a lot of work. And even though I have loved it, I have not had as much time as I wanted to work on my book. And I sort of had this narrow window of time where it was like, okay, I got to finish Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw. And if it doesn't get done by this date, I think I'm going to have to work on it during Nano. And that date came and went. So this is also something that I think a lot of us face, is that we try so hard to make sure that we're finishing up our last project so that November 1st, we can feel like we have that fresh energy, that fresh momentum of brand new story, here we go. And sometimes it can feel a little bit disappointing to say, okay, I didn't finish that story, so I'm going to have to carry that story in through November, especially if you're a professional writer and you can't really afford to put something to the side, or you really need to finish this project. And so this is the situation that I'm in for this month. And to be honest, I'm actually really excited about it, because here's what happened. And then we'll get to my list. Is I got a little bit sick from Evie bringing germs home. And I knew that I couldn't push myself beyond a certain limit in terms of my rest. Like I couldn't compromise or sacrifice any of my rest, because I knew I have a lot of stamina that I need to keep up through not only Spooktacular, which is 13 days of live streams, but also, doing Preptober at the same time and all the other stuff I have going on. But of course, daily vlogs while also writing a book in November, and then all the planner stuff and HB90 that goes on in December, as well as Publish and Thrive coming up next year. There's a lot of things in this 6-month stretch. So I knew I couldn't sacrifice my health in any way, and I just wasn't willing to do that. So when I got that terrible cold, I was like, okay, I'm going to have to slow down a little bit. And that's just part of the sacrifice we make to make sure that we really are staying in balance. But then second, and this is not uncommon that this has happened to me. Second, I made it through about halfway through my final edits and realized a big shift, like in a snap. It was like, okay. And these are my favorite moments in writing, but they also cause problems, because when something shifts and you've been plotting and planning your whole book to be one way, it can mess up some of your chapters. And at this moment, I estimate I have about 30,000 words in my 85 to 90,000 word manuscript that are going to get thrown out and completely rewritten. So it's basically an entire act of the book is going to be redone. And I had somewhat thought, okay, maybe during the prep and during Spooktacular, I can write those 30K words, but it just wasn't possible. I didn't have the time. And so it's fine. What I'm excited to say for this Nano now, because I'm shifting plans. So let me know in the comments if you feel like you've had to shift plans too, either because the project didn't come together and get finished in time, or because of a deadline that got shifted, or it might even just be that last minute you've changed which project you're working on. So let me know in the comments if you're kind of in this boat too. And it can sometimes feel a little bit panicky to be like, oh my gosh, my plans are shifting. How am I gonna replan or get everything ready for Nano? So there's a few tips that I have for you today. So the first one is just make a list of all the things that you feel like you need to get done to feel empowered and like you're building positive momentum and getting excited for NaNoWriMo. So we'll go over that list in just a second. The second thing is really pay attention to your own mindset, because feeling disappointed that you're not following through exactly the way you said you did, or you're working on a different project, is fully within your control to just not feel disappointed. And I know it's not that simple. This is not a toxic positivity message. We can feel the disappointment, right? Like, I'm disappointed that I'm not starting a Mirror of Shadows because I'm so ready to work on that. But I cannot go back in the past and change the last month, right? I can't go back and suddenly now the book is done and I'm ready to start something new. That is not a possibility. So the only choice I have is to step into this moment and say, okay, how can I reframe my thoughts? Feel the disappointment, sure, like I don't have to push those feelings down, but also begin to get myself into a place of excitement for what I am going to be working on. Because feeling disappointed and allowing ourselves to really begin to get kind of in the mucky, negative momentum feelings is not useful for the future. Like, I can't change it, and it's not going to help me make any different choices to feel bad. The only thing that will help me moving forward is to actually try to get myself to a place where I'm excited, I've accepted that this is the situation I'm in, and I'm ready to build positive momentum from where I am. And I think that can be a really helpful thing to work on at this juncture where we've got only hours until Nano begins, is to really work on your mindset of, okay, I'm not as ready as I had hoped to be, and it's okay. And how can I begin to build positive momentum right now for what I'm going to accomplish over the next 30 days? And for some of us, it might just be a realization that because of some things that have come up or things that have shifted in our lives, 50,000 words is not going to be possible during Nano. And that's okay too, to feel the disappointment of that. But if it's something that you can't change, get yourself into a place of, okay, this is my new goal and I'm excited for it as best you can. And sometimes working on that mindset part of it is more valuable than anything else that you can do. I'm working on my own mindset because there's a part of me that's like, oh my gosh, are there going to be people watching Heart Breathings that are disappointed in me for not yet again, like getting it done when I said I was going to get it done? And I don't want to feel like a person who is like falling back on my word. But in the end, I can't control what anybody watching this thinks of me. All I can do is start from where I am right now and do the best I can to build that positive momentum. So I'm working on my own mindset today. I hope that you can let me know in the comments that you're excited to see the end of edits for Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw, as well as A Mirror of Shadows, because I'm going to work on both books this month, and I'll talk about how in just a minute. So my list here was meal plan number 1. I'm trying to eliminate as many decisions throughout Nano as possible. So I pulled out my PREPTOBER / NaNoWriMo planner, which if you haven't gotten this yet, don't think that just because PREPTOBER is over that you can't use this, because it's an entire planner for the month of November. So go ahead and grab it. The link will be down below, and you just need to sign up for my newsletter and I'll send it to you for free. But there is a spread in here of a meal planner. And I basically just wrote down one main breakfast idea, 5 different lunches, 4 snacks, and 8 different dinner ideas. I added a little bit extra onto this sheet. And now what I'm going to do is, in my actual November planner, I've got a plan to sit down every Sunday, plug things in from this list, pretty simple meals, just decide, okay, Monday we're doing this one, Tuesday we're doing this one, and so on. I'm going to put them into my Google Calendar so that everyone can see them on our Skylight calendar. And then I'm going to place an order at HEB using the app and just go pick it up every Monday morning when I drop my kids off from school. And that's going to be the simplest, easiest way. So if you haven't done any pre-planning, or if you're a pantser and you don't need to plot any of your story, think about the other ways you can take decisions off your plate moving into the next month. So I worked on that. I also sat down and reworked my plan for November. So I just reprinted my November sheets with my Nano math in this planner. And I started working on it by saying, which days am I not going to be able to write, and going through the process of figuring out, when do I realistically feel like I can close the book, so to speak, on the Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw and get that book up for pre-order. And then when can I start working on A Mirror of Shadows? As of this moment, I have ideas for my serialized story that I'm going to work on, but I don't have a full plot yet. I have a character, I have some details of the world, but I don't have a plot yet. And I can't actually stop. I feel like it would be counterproductive for me right now to stop my brain train for the disappearance of Vanessa Shaw and switch to a different story. You guys will see me work through the plot of A Mirror of Shadows during the NaNoWriMo diaries. And I will probably be taking at least 2 days from the writing process to work on the plot. So there will be days this month when I get 0 words, and that's gonna be okay. But I figured up my plan, and we have Double Down Day coming up this Saturday. So that's gonna be helpful. Make sure that you check out the links down below in the description for the Heart Breathing's writing community, because we'll have extra sprints going on all day Saturday, which could be a good way to get ahead on the 4th. And then I'm going on, you see this blue line here, I'm going on a write-a-palooza, which is something that I started calling my sort of hotel nights or writing retreats back right after I had my son in 2012, because it can be so helpful for me personally to get away to an Airbnb or hotel for a couple of nights and just focus on nothing but my story. So I'm gonna do that from November 5th to the 8th. So part of my goal for today on my list is to decide where I'm staying and go ahead and get it booked. Can't decide yet. I don't know yet, but I'm going to work on that. And then my goal is to basically be done with those 30,000 words by the 8th of this month. And then I'll spend a few days in read through and revisions, as well as plotting A Mirror of Shadows. And I'm going to try to split my time a little bit. And my goal right now, although I'm 100% flexible on it, so it might not work out this way, and that's okay, is to start actually writing A Mirror of Shadows by the 15th of this month and have Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw off to beta readers, pre-order already set up and all of that. So it will actually be kind of fun to share with you my process for launching a book, getting a pre-order set up, and also working on a new story. And we'll see how it goes. NaNoWriMo Diaries is always an adventure, so this year shall be no different. So first thing I had on here was the meal planning. Second thing I have on this list is cleaning. So this room will need to be cleaned up from all of the Halloween decorations, but for the most part, this office is very clean because I did an office tour. If you would like to see an office tour of this office, it's over on my Sarra Cannon channel, so I will link that video down below. But I need to really clean my bathroom, my master bedroom, and the entryway in our house, because there's Halloween decorations, there's boxes that I've had to pull out of closets and other things. So there's some cleaning to be done. So expect day 1 of NaNoWriMo to have a cleaning montage, as I feel it has every year. Then I have plot work down on this list, but it's not going to be plot work for A Mirror of Shadows. It's just going to be trying to go into my note cards and my plot wall for Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw and identify what exactly are the chapters that are going to need major rewrites, and then what's my plan for how I'm going to get those done when I'm on this retreat. So I'm going to do some of that work, and I'm also I'm still not done enough with my edits to be at the point of the rewrites. So part of Nano is going to be rewriting, but also writing the new stuff. In terms of how I count edits, by the way, for NaNoWriMo, I keep it simple because there's no way to really tell like what got rewritten and what didn't. So if the chapter was 2,000 words and in revisions it goes to 2,500 words, then I count those 500 words as new words for NaNoWriMo. If it stayed about the same, no new words. If I cut words, no new words. And that's just how I tend to do it, even if I did switch words around, because it just makes it easy. So I'm going to work on that. I had to make a decision about my nano goals, which I have already done. My goal is to write and finish Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw, and then to hopefully write the first 2 episodes of A Mirror of Shadows, which will be, I'm guessing, around 30 to 35,000 words total for both episodes by the end of this month. Family meeting. So this was another thing that was on my last minute nano prep, is to gather the family together, remind them that I'm doing this thing called NaNoWriMo, that I'll be vlogging, that I will be, and I talked to the kids about like, you have every right to say if you don't want to be in a vlog, and kind of letting them have those boundaries for themselves. And then basically reminding people that I'm going to be working really hard on my book this month, and so let's make family as fun and stress-free as possible, and like no complaining about dinners and stuff like that. And also talking to my husband about like, here's where I could really use some extra help this month and getting on board. So that was very important. So if you have a family that maybe isn't as supportive, just having a conversation about like, hey, I'm doing this thing that is really important to me, and don't be afraid to set your boundaries there. When this sign is on the door, don't interrupt me, or letting friends know that, hey, I'm going to be doing this thing and writing a book a month, so I might not be responding to you as quickly as I normally do. Those kind of boundaries. Clothes prep is also on this list. So basically every year I love to come up with sort of my NaNoWriMo uniform, which I am already in right now, which is just black leggings or jeans, a black t-shirt or a tank top, and a hoodie. That's kind of what I'm planning to wear all month. And I do actually have like fuzzy socks on as well because it's cold in Texas today. It's like 30 degrees in Texas. Like right now it is actually 50 degrees, but tonight it's a low of 29. I don't know what happened. It's going to be 80 by Sunday. So it's crazy. But I have gone through my closet already. I did this yesterday, and I just sort of put all the tank tops in one area, all the leggings in one area, all the hoodies in one area. And I just moved everything else to the side so that when I walk into my closet, I kind of have this little uniform section right here, and I can just pull from it. So you guys are going to see the same black tank top every day. And that makes it easy because the more decisions I can take off my plate, the more successful I will be during November in spending that decision-making brain energy on my story. Then prep my tools. So let me show you that real quick. Okay, tool prep for me is making sure that my Soundcore Q35, I love these headphones, are fully charged, as well as my Samsung earbuds, because I always want to make sure everything's charged up. Also, this beauty, many of you asked about this from the first PREPTOBER video. I got this off of Amazon. I will link it for you down below. And I plan to use this for some of my writing instead of my laptop. Like when I'm off at this retreat or some other things like that, I will use both, probably my laptop and this, because I like the clicky keys. It makes me happy. So I can use this with my iPad since I write in Google Docs. I can have, I can use my phone, I can use my iPad, I can use any of those things. So I plan to use this. So I want to make sure it has fresh batteries and it's ready to go. And then let me show you some other things. The other tools I'm going to be using, I have my plot here for Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw, and I also have it fully on this sheet as well. And I think part of what I'm going to do early on, since I don't think I need this anymore. So probably pretty early this first week, I'm going to pull this down and I'm going to put up a mirror of shadows so I can start thinking through that. But I have my plot ready for Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw. And then I also have note cards at the ready. These are the 6x8, I think, and the 3x5s. And I've got those ready for plotting a mirror of shadows. I also do have my color code ready for this one, but it's in a pen cup over there. So I need to pull those out. I have my pen case, or, whatever stationery supplies I need are all in here. Page flags, all of my color coded stuff, and my Post-it notes and everything are going to get loaded into here. Then I also have my rewards, by the way. So my rewards this year are going to just be this for every 10,000 words. This is the Hello Kitty and Friends Tokidoki collaboration. That is the newer version. And so I bought 4 of these. So this will be 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000. And then my 50,000 word reward will be a Kindle Scribe, which is already in my husband's closet, and I will take it into my own possession at some point. I'm actually hoping for 60K. So I do want to come up with another reward if I hit the 60K. So I may buy another one of these if it looks like I'm going to hit it, or I might choose something else like a dinner out. Then I have my trusty timer here. I will link this for you down below if you don't want to use like an online Pomodoro timer or your phone. So this has 45, 15, 5, and 25, and you just turn it up like this and it starts the timer, and it will ding at you when the 25 minutes is up, and you can kind of follow along on this little window. And then when your 25 minutes is up, you can turn it to a 5-minute break, and you just turn it back and forth for your sprints. Then I have all my Post-it notes and index cards all ready to go. And these are my basic tools. And like I said, I do also have my snacks figured out and everything like that. So I have the pantry is already stocked with all the snacks that I'm going to be eating, and all the foods and stuff are in my fridge. So Everything's looking good. These are the main tools. I also have my Google Doc set up just for Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw, so I'll quickly show you what that looks like. So I know this isn't always the best view with this camera, but my Google Docs, I always have sort of a title page here. And since I have released or revealed this cover, you guys can officially see it now, but I have this font here that kind of matches my cover, and I have just set it up as a heading here in my Google Doc so that every time I start a new chapter, it has that same heading. Then I have the characters are color coded according to the same color code I use on my Post-it notes with the tagline for the book and the word count. And then I just go straight into the actual outline. Now over here on the side, you can see there's an outline, and the way that I create that outline is, first of all, you just need to show the outline. I think it might be in view. So yeah, so go to view and then it says show outline. And then second of all, you just need to set this chapter title as like heading 1. And then I set the character name as heading 2, and it will show that over here. Now, the one thing Google Docs doesn't do that Scrivener is really good at is it doesn't let you move these around or anything, and you can't color code your outline, but you can at least color code this. And then I set my document up with a 0.19 indent for a new paragraph. And that's all I do. I do a page break in between each chapter. And that's the main setup of my Google Doc. Otherwise, for tools, I have my PREPTOBER planner. You guys do have a digital version if you want, but I had already printed it out. So I'm just going to use the printed version of the PREPTOBER and NaNoWriMo planner. And then, of course, my laptop is also charging as well as my iPad is charging. And I plan to primarily write with my iPad and the pink keyboard, or here at this desk, which I have my favorite keyboard that I built myself. This is a Portico 75 with dark magic girl switches that are also quite clicky. I just love that click. The laptop I'm using is a Samsung Galaxy Book 2. And so I've got all that stuff ready to go. You know, the only thing I do need is I would like to get a mouse specifically for that laptop, because I don't have a great mouse that I like for that laptop. And I feel like if I'm going to be writing away at a retreat, I really need a mouse for that. So anyway, those are my tools. The final thing on my nano prep panic last minute list is just to schedule out my writing time. So I took a look at what my basic daily schedule has been over the past couple of months or whatever. And I've kind of said, okay, how am I going to shift things just a little bit? Because I will have also daily vlogs that need to get up, and my writing time has been happening in the morning. So I really fall into a pattern during Nano of, especially if I was recording late the night before, getting up in the morning first thing and working on my Nano vlog, getting that up for the day, and then doing my writing. And that's going to kind of mess with my writing time a little bit. So I know from doing the Nano math, if you don't have it, again, grab it from the PREPTOBER planner, that I am going to need about 4 writing sprints or 2 full hours of writing every single day at a minimum of either edits or writing time. Some days it's going to be more, but that's kind of my average. So my plan right now is to be starting my vlog edits by 8:30 and hopefully have the video uploading by 9:30 every day. And then I'm going to spend from 9:30 to 11:30, that 2-hour block, writing every day. And sometimes I'm going to be getting together with my friends Ines Johnson and Leslie Penelope. You may know them because they're amazing here on YouTube as well. So sometimes we're going to get together. Sometimes I might get together with my friend Jen, who also does sprints for our HB writing community. And sometimes I'm just going to join in the writing sprints. Then if I end up not meeting my goal within those 2 hours, I also am going to set aside a block of time for myself in the evenings from about 8 p.m. or 8:30, depending on when Evie goes down, to about 10:30, where I can make up any words or any extra edits. So I have 2 hours in the morning set aside and 2 hours at night. And sometimes just planning ahead to, like, if you don't have a story that you know, or you're a pantser, it's still helpful to plan ahead in terms of when am I going to get my writing done? Again, this doesn't work for everybody. Some people do better just flying by the seat of their pants with their writing time too, but it can be helpful to at least have an understanding of how much writing time you need per day to get your stuff done. And that's it. Other than for NaNoWriMo diaries here on the bottom, I do also have that I need to get the intro music and all the little video clips and stuff finished today, because tomorrow I start recording. And then of course, NaNoWriMo diaries will be daily vlogs, just like every year. I usually end up at some point in the month where I need to make an adjustment with putting 2 days together or 3 days together. So expect that again, that there might be a few days of hiccup or when I don't have a video, especially because we're traveling to North Carolina and flying with 2 kids can sometimes get a little unpredictable. But at the same time, it will be day 1, I record. Day 2, I edit that vlog and get it up. So the day 1 vlog will go up on November 2nd. The day 2 vlog will go up on November 3rd, and so on throughout. And that is basically my last minute plan. So if you're looking forward to NaNoWriMo, but you feel like you're just not ready, make your list of all the things you still want to get done by tomorrow. If, I know I didn't go over any plotting stuff specifically, but if the only thing that you're sort of freaking out about or really wanting to get done before tomorrow is just more story work, then I encourage you to download the PREPTOBER planner and go through the idea brainstorm process there, and especially work on the sheet where you can write down 10 scenes that you know. And I would highly recommend that before tomorrow, you take some time to try to write out what is the first couple of scenes that you're going to write, like maybe the first 5 to 10 scenes that you're going to write. If you're not a pantser, if you're a plotter and you want to get that figured out. So you could think of what's the first act and only work on getting that done, or work through the entire sheet and get as much done as you can, but write down what are 10 scenes that you can sort of visualize or that you can already imagine are going to happen in your book. And that will begin to serve you, because if you start out tomorrow, even with just a couple of bullet points of what's going to happen first, you at least have something to start with. Because what I've found in the past is that if you start day 1 and you're not getting any words in, it's fine. It's like 1,667 words that you didn't get in. But by the time you finish day 2 and day 3 and you don't have any words, you're already 6,000 words behind. And that can be really difficult to make up. So it's important to go ahead right now, even if you just stay 1 day ahead of it, and say, what am I going to write tomorrow that I estimate will take about 1,500 to 2,000 words to get on the paper? And then write out your note card or write out some notes about what that first bit is. And then before you go to bed tomorrow night, write out what the next bit is. And if you can stay always 1 day ahead of it in terms of your planning, or come up with a routine where every day before you write, you sit down for 30 minutes and you brainstorm what's coming up next. That can really help if you're somebody who needs to sort of know what you're writing before you go. But for all you pantsers out there, we're all jealous of you and your ability to just sit down and get the writing done. But if you're a plotter, hopefully this PREPTOBER planner will be helpful for you, and just sit down, and instead of expecting the whole book to be completely plotted, take that off your shoulders and just say, I'm going to do the best I can by figuring out just what I'm going to write tomorrow, and that will serve you. So if you have any other questions about what else can I do, let me know in the comments, and I will try to be answering questions throughout the day if you have any questions. And other than that, I will see you all in day 1 vlog that will be coming up on November 2nd. Thank you all so very much for being a part of PREPTOBER. For all of our new subscribers here that you have just joined this channel or just discovered me, I'm so glad you're here. You're gonna love the NaNoWriMo diaries, and I'm wishing you guys all the best, and I'm ready to get started. So let's do it. I will see you for the NaNoWriMo diaries. Bye.